Hey, do you remember the Muppets television show? And it was just two guys up in the balcony, Waldorf and Statler. Well, this episode's something like that. It's two old dudes in a garage, insulting people and just having a good time. I don't know if you're going to like this episode or not, but we had a silly time. This is Indian Motorcycle Radio. Nostalgia. It ain't what it used to be. Welcome to Indian Motorcycle Radio, and I'm your host, Reverend Kenn Blanchard. This is the show about Indian motorcycles and the people that ride and love them. Hey, do you like this show? Here's a way you can help. Visit buymeacoffee.com/motorcycles. Help me make this a listener-supported podcast dedicated to good people like you. Buy Me a Coffee is a way you can encourage and help me continue to bring you Indian Motorcycle Radio. buymeacoffee.com/motorcycles. The link is in the show notes. Thanks. Welcome back to the show, brother.
Good to be back. Happy to be back. Starting to feel like home.
That's a good thing, man. I took a hiatus because I got like 3 other podcasts, and I'm editing a 4th. So I thought, nobody's gonna be missing me if I'm gone. I got some really good feedback, and folks were like, "Hey, what happened to you?" And I thought, "What? Somebody actually listens?"
Of course they. Could they not? Oh boy, I just lost my train of thought. See, that's what happens when you get older. You go off on tangents and then you forget.
Sorry, that train, it's a circular train to come back around in a minute.
Oh yeah, that's true. Let's talk about fall, autumn, change of season. It's the end of the season for some and just a season of transition for others like me. I am a rider that will ride year round.
Nice.
There's a very strong contingent of people out there, and I won't name names, but they bring their bikes out a couple times a year and then get on my case if I ride past October 20th.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Usually the ones that keep their stuff trailered up, they ain't saying nothing because they're afraid you're going to say something to them, so they're kind of quiet.
Absolutely true. You hear the stories. Well, I'm not going to ride because what if it snows and it melts, and then you're going to get salt all over your bike and all this gravel everywhere. It's just like, listen, I know my roots. There's no surprises for me when I ride.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ride as long as I'm comfortable. That being said, if a person wants to try riding, and this part of the country is absolutely gorgeous this time of year. That's why I did it.
I know, right?
You got to have the right bike. And I'm not denigrating anybody that has anything other than a bagger, but baggers are suited for this weather.
Yeah. Something has to break that wind.
Yeah. And the difference between the two bikes that I have, I've got the Yamaha Roadstar. It's got a windshield. It's got a very nice windshield, but no hand protection.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I put heated grips on it, my hands would still freeze at times. The Chieftain that I have, nice big fairing, heated grip, it is so comfortable that the only thing I have to worry about is for some reason, now that I'm older, my legs do get cold, so I'll just throw another layer underneath. And since I do ride with a full face helmet, the temperature really doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
So it's nice. It's nice. I took a ride with my wife a couple of weeks. It was her first time on the bike, on the Chieftain. So I wanted to remember last week last show we were talking about having trust in your bike.
Yeah, got to.
Well, I established that trust with my bike. I can jump on it at any point and not feel any reservation. Riding with a passenger is a completely different thing. So I wanted to get about 3,000 miles under my belt before I had her get on.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets on, we take off, and for some odd reason, I can't feel her on the back like I could with my other bike. It's got the air shock underneath that you can adjust, so I adjusted it for the two of us because neither of us are tiny people.
Mm-hmm.
But that bike just pulled us without breaking a sweat. It was so well balanced that when we leaned, she's a good rider, so she knows when to lean. I didn't even feel her. If it wasn't for her arms around me, it would have been hard to know that she was on the back of the bike. That's how good these Indian motorcycles are.
That's what's up right there.
So we rode for about an hour each way, which was, I do it every day, but she hasn't been on a bike in about 3 or 4 years, so just wanted to take it slow. And she did it. She did it without a single complaint. So, win-win for the Gordon house.
I know, right?
So now I just got to, get her ready for spring, get her some better gear and take some longer trips and get her to build up her trust on the bike. Now, one more story before we dive in. We traveled about 100 miles, country roads, highways, you name it. We ran the gamut. I was about 2 miles from home on like a back road, but it's fairly well traveled. The one thing I was worried about was braking with the bike with the extra weight, but the brakes are fine. I forgot about the ABS. So we're driving down the road. I'm probably doing about 40, maybe 45 tops. Car coming towards me makes a left-hand turn out of nowhere. The guy just turned. And the part that kind of freaked me out is there was no road, no driveway. He just turned and went into a ditch. Now, apparently she didn't see it, because I know if she did, we'd both be still in the hospital now. But it was just one of those weird things. He turned. I could do nothing but, swerve into the other lane. Thankfully, there was nobody behind him. I missed hitting him probably by 3 or 4 inches and just went home. And it was weird because I got the adrenaline drop, but I didn't panic. And I don't know if that's because she was on the back or just I am just trusting my bike now. So, or some divine intervention. Could be that too. We're not going to discount that, right?
Oh, definitely.
But I'm kind of glad that, if that was going to happen, it happened. We got it out of the way. So, smooth riding from now on.
That's good, dude.
No surprises.
How about braking? Once you have to hit the brakes, how does it feel with the second person back there?
There was no difference. I don't understand. I don't know if the computer had anything to do with it, but I just applied the brakes. It didn't lock up. I mean, that could be the ABS also. It stopped me. Actually just slowed me down enough to where I could maneuver. And the more I ride it, the more things I find to love about it. So.
And what year is your bike?
It's a 2014.
Wow, that's good right there.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that year. It's the first year that model came out. It's got a distinctive look. I think they eventually turned it into the Chieftain Classic, and then they completely changed the look of the bike, to a style that's just not my cup of tea. But I'm looking at it adoringly right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So the nice thing about this year too is, a lot of guys are putting their bikes away. So now a little less pressure on you or others that don't have their bikes yet.
Yeah.
You're not out there seeing them. They're not thumbing their noses at you or teasing you.
No, but this is also the time when everybody decides, well, I think I'm going to sell it now. So there's quite a few bikes that are for sale, but they're all like long way away from it, all in Florida or Texas or Oklahoma or somewhere. I'm like, okay, it costs me just as much to go out there as it is if I bought one locally. So,
Well, look into that, because initially when I started looking, I had my eye on a bike out in California. And I guess the way you do it is there's services out there. You pay them, $100 or something around like that. And they go out and they check the bike out for you. They give it a test drive, they look it over, they go down a checklist, they take a ton of pictures, and they relay that information back to you. So that's one thing you can take off your plate. The tougher part is going to be transportation, just getting the bike from point A to B. There's a lot of good companies out there, a lot of disreputable ones. So you really have to do your research and talk to other people that have had their bikes shipped. Don't rely on reviews that could be fake. You don't want to go with the company that's got 100%. It's all good, never a problem. There's always problems.
Right.
What you want to read is how those problems were resolved. Was the company good about it? Did they, it's just, you got to do your homework with that. So that kind of opens up your options. Now you've got, a bigger net for the fish to look for. And you might even actually save money doing it that way too. Because if somebody is trying to sell their bike nationwide, they're not getting much action locally. So they might be a little more flexible on the price. I know I was able to negotiate a couple of deals that way. So,
yeah, I see one. I think it's in, where's that thing at? I think one that was in Mississippi. I'll let that one go.
mm-hmm.
The Florida one I might have missed, but one just popped up recently. Oh, there's one kind of close to me, but it's a color that I'm not real fond of, and I thought, but the price was right, and I thought, well, I might wrap that thing and change the whole color.
Or you may just get it home and it looks different. I mean, I never thought I would buy a black motorcycle. That's just never something that was in my wheelhouse. No, I'm serious. My bikes have always been silver, light colored, maroon, never a black bike. I think that's probably from my mother. You want to raise a hoodlum.
Oh, yeah. Our family has some stuff with color, man.
Yes, they do. So the bike, my dream bike, was a 2016 Indian Chieftain Elite, the Black Hills Silver. Have you seen that thing? It's spectacular. It's got a metal flake paint that is just, even watching the videos, I knew. I was like, that's the bike I want. Got this one instead, not thinking I would like a black bike. I like it. I really do. And I'm kind of glad I didn't get the other one. Maybe the other one was a little too flashy, but you can't go wrong with black, as my wife would say.
Inside joke there. Inside baseball.
Yep. So I'm not riding as much. A lot of rain up here in the Northeast. When I get up in the morning, and if it's around 30 degrees, I might skip it. Don't want to take a chance with, ice. So I'm making plans to doing things to it over the winter. I'm just gonna chrome the whole thing out as much as I can get from Kuryakyn, and I want every space that I can put some chrome on. I want it done.
Wow, you're doing opposite of the young boys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who hate chrome for some reason.
Yeah.
What's wrong with y'all?
Well, I think a lot of the complaints, because even my wife will say that you're constantly cleaning it, and I was like, that's part of the zen. That's part of the beauty.
I know.
When things get a little torqued up in the house, I'll just go out to the garage. I'll pull out my little mechanic stool, and I'll go to work on some spot and just polish the bike, man. You get to know the bike intimately. You see all the parts and how they fit together. You're checking for damage while you're down there. I mean, it's a good thing to do. So for all you youngsters out there, get some chrome once in a while. Man up. Man up.
I don't think they're listening. I think everybody riding these days is our age.
That's unfortunate. I know my son's interested, but he's only half interested.
Yeah. It's a whole nother world, man. I got my
Mhm.
feelings hurt the other day. My godson, I got him alone for a minute. So I thought, all right, I'm going to hit him up, see if we're going to do something together. He's like 7 years old. And I said, hey, man, you want to go to a go-kart track or something the next couple of days? And I was expecting enthusiasm and a cheer and when can we go? And how, he said, no, I'm not really into that, but I'll go if you want me to.
No. Now I'm thinking back to when I was that age.
Yeah.
If that offer had come up, you wouldn't have. They would have had to get the police to bring me home.
Yeah.
Go karts? Yeah. Oh man.
I'd have ran out of money.
Yeah.
Buying them tickets. Kid would have never came back.
Exactly. It's like we're trying to close. I just one more lap.
Yeah. Totally different world, man. So I was so I had like my mouth was a big O. I was sitting there going, oh, okay. This kid is different. But he's just like all the rest of these. I mean, there's a lot of kids though today. They're just a little different. I actually think we had more fun than they do. They don't know. They don't know what they're missing. Actually,
why do you think that is, though? In my mind, I think maybe I made my home too pleasant, too comfortable, too safe. There's never really any.
We live in
crazy.
a safe. Everything's safe.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted nothing for our kids that was dangerous. Nothing. I mean, don't stay outside too long because there's predators out there. Don't do that. You might hurt yourself. I saw a meme today, which reminded me probably of my whole childhood. It showed this guy. He was laying face down in the hedge bushes, and his bike was like crashed on the sidewalk. And it said, "We didn't wear helmets when we were kids. We just sat there. If we fell off and unconscious until it was time for dinner."
That is so true. Like even now, I'm on my back patio. It's dark out and the street light is on. And there's the little boy in me is saying, get your butt inside.
Yeah, that's what it was. Until then, you're good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once that street light comes, my mother gave you got 2 minutes. Standing there with a belt.
And I had a 3-speed with a banana seat, and I would drive this thing at least 15 miles away from my house. If my mother was yelling, I would never hear it. I was gone. I had no intention of coming back until the sunset. So when the sun was going down, I'm pedaling like a madman trying to get back. I was a long way from home. I mean, I was like almost to where my high school was. I mean, and I didn't even know that I would end up going that direction for high school, but I was on my bike that far because they had better parks. They had better stuff in the other neighborhoods. So off I went. And nobody cared.
Man, when you were talking about your bicycle a second ago, I got, when I was 10 years old, Christmas, a Ross Apollo 5-speed. It had the shifter was on the column there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Banana seat, and it was the bike that they always showed on Wonderama. And that's going to mean nothing unless you're from the tri-state area. But it was a Sunday morning kids show, and that was like one of the grand prizes you would win. And I got this bike, and let me tell you, I was king shit in my neighborhood for a long time. And I just take that bike out. It was the coolest bike. I remember my dad telling me this bike cost me $100, and that's in 1973 dollars. So this was serious.
Yeah.
I got on that bike and I ran that neighborhood. I would just drive slow. I would drive in circles. The girls would come out from their apartments and we'd all walk in a cluster, me just pedaling real slow. Oh man, it was great. And then
back in early.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I just get goosebumps just even thinking about how great it was. And then I put the bike on the patio. I went in, had some dinner, came out the next day, went to school, came back home, went to get the bike. Bike's not there. I was like, what is going on? I go inside. Mom, what? Where's my bike? I don't know. I don't ride it. So I was like, uh-oh. So I start looking around. This bike is nowhere. Somebody had stolen it.
Yeah.
So
That was the thing.
She went crazy. How irresponsible I was. And she's so disappointed. I'm just crying.
I know, right? Making it worse.
Crying. And just, so got myself together. It's like, oh, when are we going to get the new one? And she just started laughing at me again. What's so funny? You're not getting another bike. You're never getting another bike. I gave you one bike and you lost it. It's
yup.
And then the tears really. I think I cried myself to sleep that night. I was just terrible.
Yep.
So
that's how we lived.
Yeah. So a couple months later, right around this time of year, this kid that I went to school with in 5th grade, I'm not going to say his name because I'm still watching this kid. All right. He rolls up on the same bike. All right. Now, this is a unique bike. They didn't have it in any of the stores where we lived. My dad had to go down to the city to get this thing. So I was like, huh. And it was my bike, and they just spray painted it blue, spray painted over everything. So I was mad at that at first. And I was mad. It's like, so where'd you get that bike? My dad gave it to me. Where'd he get it from? I don't know. It's my bike. So, and I had no way to prove it, but come on.
Yeah. Remember those days.
Yeah. So I found him on Facebook. might have to give him a talking to in front of his grandkids.
That's too funny.
And the best part is, probably about 8 years ago, I went to an auction and they had my bike. So I told my wife, I'm getting this bike. She's like, what are you talking about? What are you going to do with it? It's like, I don't care. I'm getting this bike. I don't care how much it costs. I'm getting this bike. She's like, okay. So they start the bidding. My hand goes up. So they start the bidding and it's going up. And I see this guy with his kid and they're bidding and I'm bidding and my hand's not coming down at this point. So it's just going up and up and up. And the guy, every time he would raise it, he would look at me. It's like, what the hell, dude? And I'm looking straight ahead. It's like, I'm getting this bike. So finally got it and saw the bike and just started weeping like a baby. It's just, I can't believe I got this thing back. It's not the exact same one, but it's the principle, right? So the guy that was bidding against me comes over. It's like, so you won, huh? Like, yep. Finally, after 30 years, I got my bike back. Oh, I was going to get it for my kid, but I guess you need it more than he does. And he walks away. Like, yeah, that's I need cool. It more than he did. I'll send you a picture. It's in my garage, hanging up with my other bikes right now.
Hey man, that's how. Shoot, I wrecked mine.
Did you?
I was polishing that thing up like it was the Tiffany jewelry or something, and I'm cruising around the street, all through the neighborhood, looking at people, waving at people. My bike is gleaming. Mm-hmm. I'm all happy, and I'm looking like a runaway kid. I don't have no socks on. I mean, it's just we was kind of poor, but I had a cool bike though, and right. I saw a thread was hanging from the frame, so I bent down to pull this thread off that came from the rag when I was cleaning it. When I looked up, a taxi cab stopped right in front of me.
Oh no!
Crashed right into the tire. I flew over the hood. The front wheel got bent up. I dislocated my leg. The guy jumps out of the car. I'm hobbling over to my bike. I'm screaming. He thinks this is because of me in pain. And my leg's like going kind of the wrong way. I'm looking at my bike going, look at my tire. It'll never be fixed again. And he's like, where do you live, little kid? I was like, oh, down the street. Look at my tire. And he's like, come on, I'm gonna put this in the back of the car. Don't touch my bike. So he follows me home as I'm like limping, rolling his bike back down the street. I get to my house and he's like looking at my mother, trying to tell her what had happened. And then she looks at me and she starts to scream. I look at my leg and I go, oh, that doesn't look good. I reached down and like pulled my knee back in the socket, which I guess adrenaline was still kicking because I didn't know until it popped, and then
I was passed out from the pain. But that was it. I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything. It was like, okay, I set myself, and now I'm about to pass out. Thank you.
Now, when she screamed, that scared you, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It kind of woke me up. Like I was totally oblivious to everything until then. It's like Mom just woke me up from my stupor. It's like something's wrong. All right, my leg is bleeding a little bit, and my leg looks kind of funny. And get rid of this taxi cab driver who just kept following me all the way home. This guy's weird. He's all concerned. He's like a good dude, man. He could have like just rolled out, but he was trying to be a responsible adult. I'm still mad at him because he wrecked my bike. That was the end. That was the end of that. That bike was done after that.
Oh man, you hate to see it go. The reason I asked that, when I turned 6, it was my 6th birthday. This is I love this story. This is so fresh in my mind. I'm 6. I can almost reach the top of the refrigerator because we had a small refrigerator because we broke. And so it's Saturday morning. I'm having a party later in the day. Life is good. Life is great at 6. I'm a big boy now. I'm not a kid. I'm a big boy. So I'm walking with my friend Charlie, and we're just goofing around. And there's this stone wall, probably about 3 feet high. And Charlie says, "I bet you can't walk on that wall." Shit, I'm a man now. Jump up there and I'm walking.
That's right.
How are you going to get down? Yeah, I'm going to jump. Like Tarzan. I'm just going to jump. So I jump. I land on all 4s. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to save that part for the end. So I get up, brush myself off. Charlie looks at me and he turns just pale, which is unusual because he's as black as Wesley Snipes. He's just shaking. And I was like, "What's the matter?" And I look, and I'm wearing a white turtleneck, right? And my little fringe vest because it was the 60s. And I look down, and there's blood on my hand. And when I had brushed myself off, there's blood all over my shirt. So I look, I don't know what's going on. Charlie starts crying. I start crying because he's crying. And as I'm crying, I'm getting worked up. Now more blood's coming out of my hand. And I'm crying, so now my eyes stink. So now I'm like wiping my face. Now there's blood all over my face. All right? So I go home crying. My mother sees me, and she lets out a scream that I had never heard. It scared the hell out of me.
Right.
Because I can't imagine what was going through her mind because she's just standing there ironing. I come in covered in blood, just covered in blood, crying. And she's yelling at me, "What happened? What happened?" And I'm crying so hard, I can't get it out. And it turns out when I had landed, I landed on a broken Coke bottle. Now, Coke bottles back in the 60s were real heavy and thick. So just big, jagged pieces of glass just like went into my hand and just ripped it open. And it was just terrible. So we go to the hospital. I'm just terrified because I watched a lot of TV and nothing good happens at the hospital. And
I know people die in there.
Yeah. And so I get there and I'm in the emergency room and there's this big, mean Jamaican nurse. I'll never forget that. She was the meanest. Oh, she was mean. I was like, "I'm in the hospital. I'm hurt." It's just, be quiet now. Be quiet. So I was like, "Oh, man." So then the doctor comes in, and here we go with racism again. He was Indian. I'd never seen an Indian doctor in my life. The only doctors I'd seen are like on TV, Marcus Welby, older white guys, right? So I don't know who this guy is, what he's doing. He's got a funny accent I don't understand, and he starts stitching me up. Now, I didn't know at the time. I didn't find this out until much later. Local anesthetics don't work on me. So the nurse is holding me down one arm. My mother's holding down. They just got me held down to this bed, and he's trying to stitch it up, just trying. And it was traumatic. So, they finish up. I'm still snuffling just for like all day. And then I get home everything's cool. I have the big bandage on. And I asked my mother, it's like, well, what time's the party starting? You're not having a party. You ruined it again. It's like, oh.
I know, right? Cry some more.
Never got that party back. Oh, the days. But that's part of my reckless spirit, which is why I ride motorcycles now.
What you drinking, man? Thanks. Sounds good.
Just some watered down iced tea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna look for the good scotch, but it's somewhere in the house, and I didn't feel like looking for it. So another night.
The last wedding I did in Pennsylvania, I got a chance to try some stuff that John Wick uses on his show. I didn't even know existed. Yeah, it's real premium stuff. You can like hard to find whiskey. I forget the name of it. It's like what is it called? Everybody watches John Wick and sees what John Wick drinks in the movies. Let's see what it is. Lucky for Google. Oh, Blanton's original single barrel bourbon whiskey. I had a chance to
try.
That's my new thing. I think I'm gonna be like John Wick. I'm just gonna get one whiskey, and that's all I'm gonna drink. And nobody has it, so I'll never be drunk.
Yeah, if you're gonna do whiskey, it's got to be good. Don't skimp on the price. Because
yeah, this stuff.
I mean, think about it.
Blanton's.
You don't guzzle it. You just kind of sip it. It lasts a long time.
Yeah.
Puts me in a good mood. I know that. Not like tequila, which tends to make me angry.
Oh, I thought that was just me.
It's funny how that works. But never, ever, ever drink and ride a motorcycle.
No. Those two don't even go together at all.
Nope. Bad news, bad juju. Just for you young kids out there that are listening to us, and I know you're out there
somewhere.
Yeah,
I want young people to start riding again. I mean, the fact that you never see a young person at a dealership now kind of bums me out. The fact that Harley Davidson and some other companies are going under and they're selling like Vespas and stuff because they got to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying with electric bikes. I mean, they're really trying to appease somebody, but
right.
Maybe it's just a cycle. Maybe right now they're waiting for, I don't know, for change.
You know what? The other thing that's missing, and I don't know if you've noticed it, growing up when I was a teenager, there were TV commercials all the time for motorcycles, and you just don't see that anymore. I remember Kawasaki lets the good times roll. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Follow the leader. He's on a Honda. I mean, the 70s was just every major company had just lots of advertising, and I don't know when that stopped. Probably when the sport bikes really took off, which was probably right after Top Gun. After Top Gun, everybody was on a crotch rocket. That's true. It's all you saw.
Yeah, I still didn't like them, so I was not in that group.
Yeah, I never. It's just I like the chrome. I like the big cruisers. I like the baggers. I always have, ever since I was little. And
Interesting. They're going to have to go find some of that nostalgia. That's going to be the title for this whole show, I think. This is a nostalgic episode.
Yeah, it is. Definitely is.
If you're not old, you won't understand.
Yeah. So, and you don't want to really force kids to ride too, because then they'll kind of resent it. You want them to discover it organically, naturally. And, I always thought the best way was, set a good example. So I'm a good rider. I've taken courses. I ride safely. I'm not doing endos. I'm not doing wheelies. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just riding. I love just when I was riding with my wife, there was a group of bikes that went by, probably 7 or 8, just a bunch of real loud Harleys. They didn't wave. They just kind of blew by us. And I just got that chill because I've ridden in groups before, and it is an unbelievable feeling. And you just don't get that with the sport bikes. You don't feel the ground shaking when you've got, a half dozen really big cruisers on the road.
That's true.
You just have that weird whine.
Yeah, it's all about speed and nothing.
Yeah.
No enjoyment of what you're doing. Just get to point A, maybe pop a wheelie or two, show off some tricks, but that's it.
Yeah, you know what question I've never asked you? How fast you go on that thing?
I know. Never say that. Don't even care. I remember I rode with some cops one time, and they were like a gang of 6. These guys were like outlaw bikers, their own self, and they were crazy. I mean, they was breaking every law you can think of to get to where we were going. I'm thinking I'm with the law, and you guys are like raunchy, man. And they're like, "Why are you driving like an old man?" I was like, "Because I'm like a law-abiding citizen." And they all had crotch rockets, so they were like, "I know you can keep up with that thing." I was like, "Yeah." I was like the only one riding a Harley at the time, and I was like, "Yeah, and I want to live." You guys are like hauling butt, man.
Listen, there's no hurry. You just, you get from point A to B, and you're doing it in an enjoyable way. And I can't see how enjoyable. Well, maybe that's just me. That speed doesn't move my needle.
Yeah, the same here. They were younger than me, and that was like my last ride with them.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had some new friends, but no, not my speed. I didn't get this old being stupid.
Oh, so that leads me to my next question. How many times have you dropped a bike?
Only once.
Really?
It's when I was practicing.
Mm-hmm.
On my Honda 350 in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I was practicing on a track after everybody had gone. Rolled down to a high school, was flying around this track, just trying different maneuvers, and got too close to the outside where the sand was near the one of those jumps.
Yeah,
that's when I learned about the sand. That stuff, my bike just went. It was gone. I was like in the air like a cartoon, like when the coyote falls off the cliff. I was in the air for a few minutes. My bike had already shot into the grass, and then I was like just in the air going, "Hey, my bike is missing." And I hit the ground. But it was like a low impact fall. Didn't hurt me. I just dented up my my highway bars and messed up my pegs a little bit. But I learned that's like, okay, make sure I stay away from the edges of the road the next time I see that sandy stuff.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, both of my accidents were when I was very young. I was in my 20s. First one was well, they were both my fault. All right. These are accidents that could have been easily avoided. First one, there was a couple of blondes in a convertible. I think it might have been a LeBaron. And I'm behind them on the bike, and they're looking at me and waving and flirting. So, like every other kid from that age, I used to get Motorcyclist magazine. And what's on the cover? Always a guy leaning hard, right? So we get to a curve in the road. I'm going to lean hard and show these girls I know what I'm doing. Next thing I know, I'm on the ground skidding, and I'm going in one direction. The bike's going in another direction. I was like, uh-oh.
Ouch.
So, yeah. And I'm wearing shorts and a T-shirt because it's summertime. And I'm, 22 and stupid. So I get up on shaky legs, got some nice road rash, go over to the bike. It was a Kawasaki KZ400, but it was a touring package. So it had, the highway bars and saddlebags, and a fairing. So the fairing got scratched up pretty good. Side of one of the bags got scratched up, but the bike was straight and it rode fine. I wasn't fine. I was all shaky and wobbly, and got back on the bike, and the girls had stopped, and you're okay. And so what do I say? I'm fine. I do this all the time. They look at each other and take off.
Right? Right. Stuff we say.
Yep. In the moment.
Girls get you killed.
Oh, yes. If I just minded my business and just gone on where I was going, it wouldn't have been there. So the other time, I'm coming down a hill, same bike, and at the bottom of the hill, there's a hard left. So I'm going down, I'm downshifting, give it a little bit of brake. The chain jumps off the sprocket, locks everything up. I go skidding and go right into a huge bush. It was like something out of a cartoon. The bike is like stuck. It's standing up, still running, and I'm, kind of on top of it. And it was in front of a rectory. So there was nuns there and they were all worried. It was comedic.
Wow.
But again, the lesson I learned from there, do your regular maintenance. Don't just ride around and don't look at stuff, check your belts, check your tires, check, and double check. Every time I get on the bike now, I walk around, I look, I see if there's anything odd, anything unusual. Because it's easy, especially in the summertime, it's easy to just, grab your helmet, jump on and go. But that's when you get into trouble, These are very dangerous machines in the wrong hands.
I remember coming back from Disney World one time in Disneyland in California, and I had a Yamaha 850, and I'm flying because you have to do like 70 miles an hour just to keep up in the slow lane on Highway 1 in California. Everybody's booking. Old ladies are passing me by, and I'm thinking it's okay. I went to that class where they scared me straight on base, so I'm going to be Joe, law abiding, and I'm not going to speed. And this guy on a sport bike, he had the full matching leathers. I mean, he was dressed to kill. He looked like a professional stunt guy. He had like two-tone leathers. His shoes matched. His helmet matched. His gloves matched. It was all leather outfit. He was weaving in and out of cars. And I thought, dude, why do you got to do that? It's already crazy out here on this highway. But I'm thinking that. And then he goes by me. He's gone. I was like, man, look at that guy all between those cars. About 10 minutes later, traffic stops. I hear sounds, crashes. People are hitting each other. I'm thinking, oh, man. I came to a halt and ran in the back of a Honda VW Bug. I skidded in a straight line and ran right into this guy's bumper. Bam!
Wow.
I thought I was going to ride up on his on the hood. I mean, it was like the front tire did come up a little bit. I was like, wow. I wonder if that actually would have happened,
That would have been funny.
I know, right?
Right over it.
So he jumps out the car, looks at me. I'm like, dude, I am so sorry. But look around. And he's like, yeah, I know. Well, at least nothing's wrong because, again, the VW was hard metal back then. And so we're like sitting at a standstill and traffic just stopped. Now it's hot. And we're just creeping at like 1 mile an hour. I'm thinking, man, this is going to be a long ride back to base. And when we finally got up to the accident, it was the biker dude, man.
Really?
He was laid out like when they paint them little yellow lines on the street like a murder victim.
Yeah. Oh no.
He was like laid out there, and because I was on my bike, I could see him. I mean, people were standing around. The ambulance hadn't got there yet. He wasn't moving. It was not the age of the Good Samaritan. Nobody touched him. He just was there in the street, and cars were like looking at their own, damage, and people just looking like, hope I can get by without, messing my car up.
Wow.
I thought, okay, yeah, I will return to being the slow guy. It's okay with me.
That's one thing about California I've never understood is it's totally legal to split lanes like that. And to me, that's crazy because what if, and I've seen people do this plenty of times, just open their door or you spit or a piece of garbage out.
A lot of mean people out there.
Yeah. So why would you take the chance of, splitting the lane at 40 and then having somebody open their door and now you're gone? Just never, I never got that.
I don't know what made him crash. It was not a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I don't think I've ever actually seen a motorcycle accident. Thank goodness. I mean, there seems to be fewer, but that's probably because there's fewer riders out on the road.
Yeah. Right now, you never see it, but in the early spring, it's always some kids. They're always under 30 usually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some kid that saved up his money and bought a Hayabusa.
Yep. They don't even have a license yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another good thing. Hey, kids, don't ride dirty. Get your endorsement. It's easy. It's fun. Because if you don't, they'll just take your bike. They'll just take it.
And I'm thinking about it. We do have a whole bunch of young kids riding, but they're riding four-wheelers and dirt bikes in the middle of the street in gangs. We have that happening down here.
Mm. Oh, we had a kid, 20-something, just riding around on a four-wheeler on the city streets here up in Schenectady, which is close to us. And he ran into a car and got killed. Just no helmet, just out, just being stupid.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch.
City is not a place for mini bikes, I think. I mean, I could be wrong.
Mini bikes.
Scooters, yeah.
That's what I wanted when I was a kid so bad.
I never got one.
Mini bike was on the Christmas list every year. That never got that though.
Oh yeah, break out the Sears wish book, go right to the mini bike section, circle it.
Yeah.
Put a big star around it. Go back the next day, it's crossed off. You get GI Joes instead. All right, they're fun, but just not as fun as a mini bike.
It's true.
I always felt like I left out. I felt that I missed something as a rider because I didn't have that early experience. My wife even rode mini bikes and she was younger. I just never had that. I got into it late. I was in my 20s by the time I had my first bike. So I always felt like a behind the eight ball experience wise. But then I think I ride a lot more than most normal people. I can put 5,000, 4,000 miles a year on the bike, just casual riding. So
yeah, that's good stuff. What do you wear when you those cold mornings?
I have a heavy horsehide leather jacket. It's kind of a replica of the old police motorcycle jackets.
Okay.
So it's like 3/4 length.
Fur collar?
No. Just like a regular biker jacket, but just it's really heavy.
Okay.
And a pair of jeans. I tend to ride with boots, and good gloves. I did cheap gloves, and you can't skimp on gloves either. I mean, I want something that's going to protect my hand if I do go down, but I also want something that's going to keep me warm. So a lot of shopping around, a lot of buying stuff and returning stuff till you find something you like. Again, I ride with a full face helmet, so there's no issue there. I just bundle up, but I don't bundle up too much where I can't move.
Yeah,
because I think that's just as dangerous as riding naked. You got to be able to move and maneuver. Even if you just want to shift in your seat to shift the weight a little bit. If you're really, I'm not going to wear triple fat goose and snow pants and all that because that's just too much. But ride, dress for the ride, not for the slide. That's how the saying goes. So
something like that. Sound good.
If I'm not wearing leather, I've got a very good Tourmaster adventure jacket that's got it's got the Kevlar, it's got the padding, it's got liners. It's a great coat, and the nice thing about it is in the springtime, it's cool in the mornings, but sometimes it'll be warmer. I can just zip out the lining, throw it in the bag, and ride home. Or I could take out all the liners, because there's several of them, and it's just straight mesh for those really hot summer days. And you know, I get the looks from some people, but you know what? I don't care. If I'm moving, I'm staying cool with the mesh, and I think that's what counts. You know, I could look cool with just wearing a leather vest, which, you know, I did when I was riding in clubs, but I like to feel safe when I'm on the bike because it's just one less thing I have to worry about.
Yeah, I don't mind sweating. Sweating comes off. Blood, that's a whole different thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what do you wear?
Oh, I got a mesh, kind of a Joe Rocket jacket I wear in the summertime when it's super hot, and I have a whole bunch of different leather and textile style jackets, and I even wear chaps if it's if I'm going somewhere.
Huh? I've never done that. How is that?
Chaps work really, really well. You look like a village person, but and my wife thinks it's sexy, and it's probably some dudes too. So it's kind of a weird feel, but it works. Yeah, you can tell you walk into the gas station and folks are like looking at you like it's these damn chaps. But they do take the heat off. They take the bugs off. Takes the chill off. Mm-hmm. I like the chaps. But I got something better than chaps. I got a pair of pants I wear when I was in law enforcement. They're like Gore-Tex that you kind of wear over your pants for like when it snows. Those things block all the wind. They are the best. And I got a set of those that are like bibs now. So I wear that in the winter months. It's like a bib overall. I threw my leather jacket over top of that, and then I am good to go. I got gauntlet gloves for the cold time.
Yep. That's good.
A good gaiter, and I'm good.
Have you ever thought about heated clothing?
Somebody gave me a heated, what was it? I think it was a heated jacket. Or might have been just heated gloves. But I didn't feel like hooking it to my battery. I was like, that's just too much stuff. I'm afraid something's going to short.
Right. So or sit there and drain your battery.
Something, yeah. I was afraid of that. So I was like, nah, I had it, but never connected it. But they're a lot better now. Everything's newer and better and lighter. So,
yeah, I thought about heated gloves because I think that would probably be the only thing that I would. Yeah, I'm a big guy. I don't really need I don't need a heated jacket. I know that's overkill for me. Like I said, just some thermals or something underneath whatever pants I'm wearing. I usually wear EMT pants because they've got a lot of pockets and they're roomy and they're tough. They're tough. So, but if I get heated gloves, that signals some type of commitment. I'm going to be riding in very cold temperatures.
Yeah, I did I want
to commit.
I did a polar bear ride one time with a group called Buffalo Soldiers. Had a polar bear ride first day of January.
Oh, nice.
And, that was the coldest I'd been out. It was probably about 20 degrees out.
That's cold.
Yeah.
The coldest I ever rid, 9 degrees.
That's cold.
Yeah. Now this is because I didn't have a car at the time. I only had the bike. I only lived about 2 miles from where I was working at the time. And my girlfriend was always mad at me, so she would never pick me up. So I just had to get on my little Kawasaki and just tough it out. Now I had to wear dress clothes at the job. So I'm riding home in like those thin poly blend pants, dress pants. I thought I was going to die.
I know that's cool. That's when you're hugging your bike, trying to suck the heat out of the engine, hoping it warms you up a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't even have gear. I had a cheap little helmet that I got cheap. We're just just a blazer and a tie and dress pants, and it's 9 degrees out. 9.
Yeah, it was cold.
Yeah, never again. Never again. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
how about we wrap up for today? And I appreciate you, man, coming on the show and taking me down memory lane and remind me of my 3-speed thing. I'm actually going to put a picture of that on show notes, I think.
I will send you a picture, and you can put mine up too.
All right, cool.
All right,
going down
man.
memory lane, all the stuff that's happened. Got any special plans for this week coming?
Actually, no. Just sitting back, relaxing, waiting to hear something good happen in the world. A lot of bad stuff going on. I'm just waiting for some good news.
Oh, okay. I'm hoping that you get some soon.
I'm sure I will. And if not, I still have my bike.
All right, man. Well, thank you, man, for joining me again and making this episode interesting. We just wax poetically about life. Two old guys talking nostalgia. Thank you, Big Rick.
All right. We will talk to you soon.
All right, man. Take care.
All right. Bye.
All right, my friends, that's it for this week. I want to thank you for listening, downloading, and subscribing to your favorite righteous podcast, Indian Motorcycle Radio. Now may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon you. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the hollow of his hand. Kickstands up. Let's ride.